when I have a client sitting in my office saying, I don't like prong collars, I don't like e-collars, I always say, well, you know what? I agree with you 100% because I don't like the public having those tools either. Mm-hmm. I said, those tools are like an airplane. It's a great form of transportation unless you don't know how to fly it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Maltese, owner and trainer of Pet to Pal Dog Training, and this is the Pet to Pal podcast. Today, I'm joined by Ryan, owner of Noble Canine, and Chris, general manager. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Thanks for making the trek. You guys made a drive out here. If you want, maybe kind of tell everyone where they can find Noble Canine and where you guys are located. And
Sure. So we're just outside of Waterloo, located in a small town called St. Agatha. Find us on our website, noblecanine.ca.
Awesome. All right. So let's jump right in. You know what? Why don't we get a little bit of background on kind of you guys, and maybe we could do it separately, and then kind of how your stories collided a little bit. Maybe Ryan, we'll start with you. When did you kind of first get into training, and maybe your first dog or your first moment where you knew, hey, this is something I might want to pursue?
Sure. So like I mentioned, it's not a straight line. Never has been a straight line. Went to university, kind of quickly learned that going to vet school is really not my thing. Met a good trainer who's still a very good friend of mine. Worked together on the protection dog side of things.
Nice.
And that's how I kind of just learned. I'm going to be working with dogs for sure, more so on the training side than the veterinary side, and go from there.
Yeah, so I've had dogs my entire life. I always liked messing around with them, even when I was young, very, very young. Came a point in my life where I couldn't have one because of my living situation, so I started going into shelters, started calling rescues, started working dogs. Nice. and trying to help dogs out, and just developed as I went. And I actually became a trainer through my volunteer work as the rescues. Awesome. And parents said, hey, you should do this for a living. And then I just pursued an apprenticeship at Grassroots Canine, and now I'm here at Noble. And
nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what kind of dogs did you guys have growing up? What were some of your first experiences?
Shepherds, through and through, always.
Granted, the logos. That's, I should have guessed.
That's right.
So I had golden retrievers. Started. We had two when I was a kid. I had a shepherd when I was even younger than that. I had a beagle. Nice. I've had all sorts of dogs. Awesome. I have four now. different variations of pit bulls.
Very cool.
So yeah, kind of had it all.
And that's good. It's good to round out your skill set with all different breeds. And Ryan, you were saying you started more on the protection side, or doing decoy work, or?
Yep. So that's one of the aspects that Noble Canine offers. It would be Noble Protection Dogs is a completely different facet of the business, where we do raise, train, and select personal protection dogs or family protection dogs for families that need them. And, just looking around, you're in the GTA.
Yep.
You see what's going on.
And, I get it. I'm getting a lot of that.
Having a door behind having a dog behind a door of a home is just crucial.
Absolutely.
Even if it is just barking.
Yeah, no, it's really helpful. It's I forget the exact stats, but there are stats that show that just having a dog is like a 60% deterrent just on its own, right? That's so, absolutely, I think it's a much needed service these days. The way life is trending here, I'll just speak for where we are. But in the GTA, you guys know what it's like, and crime is up. We'll just say that. It's a good service that you guys are doing. How did you kind of transition going from starting decoy work and protection work to getting to like pet dog training and that end of it?
For sure. So I'm going to give credit where credit's due, but Rob, again, one of my mentors, he had done a lot of just selection, raising, training, and selling of police canines.
Nice.
That was great until, police canine services are great, but they just don't have budgets that allow them to be able to afford some of our services, afford some of the dogs we've got up for sale.
Yep.
So we explored more of the private sector.
Gotcha.
Where I was actually approached by a family looking for a dog. At the time, I had a 1.5-year-old Belgian Mal that we were training for myself. Argos was his name. And the family came to me saying that they need this dog, and they need help training a specific kind of dog, and I had the dog available.
Yeah.
I was also getting another puppy, actually Rob's breeding, so I was just like, okay, cool. I could sell you this dog and make you really happy, or we could get you a puppy and then take that gamble.
Okay.
And obviously we decided to sell that dog. Hardest decision I've had to make in a while, right? But it needed to be made, and that was the first dog that I ever sold.
Kickstarted
everything else.
The rest is history. Awesome. How do you kind of go about selecting a dog that you think would be a good candidate for dog sports or protection dog work, or how do you guys kind of not evaluate, but like what makes a good dog that's a good protection dog candidate?
So we've got a list of things that we consider, health being number one. Right? If someone's spending a lot of money on this dog, the dog has to have good health.
Yep.
Sociability and environmentals. Can the dog go places? Right? Can the
A
dog
willingness to do the work as well.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got a Rolodex of things that we consider, and some dogs just don't make the cut. Most dogs don't make the cut,
Yep.
and that's up to us to select the right animals for the job. And then what's more important is selecting the right owner for the dog.
That's a good point.
Right.
And how big of a factor is the dog's internal drive? Like if it has high drive initially or building
Massive.
drive?
Huge.
Massive.
It's almost everything,
Yeah.
right? It's about work in. How much work do you want to put into it?
Yep.
You know, if you have the dog that just wants to do it and is really drivey and really enjoys doing the work, well, the hard work's done.
Yep.
Right? It's just teaching the game after that.
Totally.
Trying to build the dog up, you could be opening a can of worms on that. And,
Yeah.
and it gets a lot more difficult.
I remember when I was doing, this was ages ago, but when I was initially going to go into the canine unit and policing, I did a course for canine handling, protection, detection, search and rescue.
Very nice.
In conjunction with OPP and Olympus Canine in
Pando.
Orangeville, Pando. And one of the things that I remember him telling me, or one of them telling me, was, one of the tests that they do was they basically take the dog to like a cornfield, throw the ball in the field,
Ball hunt.
and
Yep.
see
Ball
how.
hunt.
And they said they don't care if the dog finds the ball. They
So
just
how long
how
will they
long
look
will
for
it
it?
look,
Yeah, so
right?
how long will they
Drive.
look for it?
Absolutely.
Drive. They're not looking for training. They don't even care if he finds the ball. It's just
Yep.
can the dog continue.
Yep.
Ball hunts are great, right? I like the idea, but I think for personal protection, it's
less
negligible.
relevant.
It's not
Yeah.
important.
Interesting.
Not important.
I
Interesting.
mean, for a detection dog, a tracking dog, something that's super important.
For sure.
Right? Is because that could be a task where that dog's not going to be successful a lot of the time, right? So they have to just really enjoy the process.
So what are some better tests to evaluate for a protection dog?
For personal protection, I think it's even different than like a canine, right? Because I mean, you need that desire to do the work, that drive to do the work, but you also need a dog that's going to be stable, safe, maybe be able to be around kids,
Sure.
but still go.
Yeah,
still
it is
go
a
to
lot of
war
like
when you
families
need
that
to,
are looking for it now, right? Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors to consider in there, and I think maybe that's probably what makes it even more challenging. I think is you got to be good at both. The dog's got to be good at both sides.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it hard to have a dog be able to switch mindsets from obedience to like protection work?
Not necessarily. A lot of it's context based,
Okay.
right? So just if you go home, it's just an everyday situation. The dog is not on alert. They're just a happy-go-lucky pet dog.
Yep.
That's what we select for. If someone rings the doorbell, if someone's not supposed to be in the home when they're not supposed to be in the home,
Yep.
that's a completely different context.
Absolutely.
Right? And we train the dogs to recognize certain threats.
Threat recognition. Right?
Yep.
Is it a threat? Is it not?
What are some maybe common misconceptions you think people have of protection dogs?
That they're vicious.
Yeah, we get
That
that.
they're
They think
vicious.
people see biting a sleeve or whatever, they think aggressive, right? Not really maybe realizing that those dogs are sometimes more under control,
100%.
right? Because they have an off switch. They
100%.
know it. They're coming at it from a place of it's a game, not this like insecure, fear-based reactions, right? So having a dog but having a dog bite from a place of play and confidence as opposed to from a place of fear.
100%.
Right?
100%. Yeah. Also, too, like, I mean, I think we pride ourselves on we make some pretty sucky dogs that will go to war for you.
Yeah,
Right.
nice.
And if you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
That's right.
Right. And I think that's the mark of a good protection dog. It's like,
Absolutely.
hey, I can have company over. I can walk down the street. I can do all this stuff, and I don't worry about my dog breaking obedience and biting somebody.
Absolutely.
And that's the misconception they have. Like, this dog is just going to hurt everybody. No, that's not a good dog.
Yeah.
No.
Like, you got more work to do if that dog's doing that stuff, right?
Absolutely. And I know you were saying too, when you were selecting, when you're choosing a dog that's a good temperament, good drive, you mentioned also selecting the right owner, right? So what do you think maybe goes into, what kind of people watching or clients out there would be good candidates to have protection dogs?
Depends. We've got so many different dogs for different applications. If you're someone that's got a family, we will steer you towards a different dog than if you're a person just, driving around places, you're a business owner, you don't have a family to go home to per se.
I think
you might need a different dog, right?
I think it's
So-
pairing. Not necessarily selecting. It's
Gotcha.
pairing the right pairs together.
Yep. Compatibility.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. Do I have 5 kids? That are going to be chucking toys around and doing that sort. Do I want to give them the spicier dog? Probably not, right?
Yeah.
Because that could be a recipe for disaster. You know, so again, it's lifestyle
Yep.
and temperament, and putting the people's lifestyle with the dog's temperament, and making sure that it's going to be cohesive together
For sure.
so that they have success.
And so when you're training a dog for protection work, does it have to be done as a puppy, or can someone come to you with a 1-year-old shepherd and say, "Hey, I want to get this dog into dog
done
sports," or
We've done both.
Yep.
I would prefer to have
Sure.
the puppy.
Yeah.
Right. They're a lot more formidable.
Yep.
We can control some of the aspects of what we're going to show the dog, socialization, exposure. Like you mentioned earlier, early exposure is huge.
Yeah.
And if you bring me a year-old dog, I don't know what's been done. I don't know what the dog knows, what they've been.
Or the ghosts in the closet.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Right. So I would
100%.
rather a puppy through and through, but also not every puppies are going to do it.
And then you have the puppy roulette argument, though, too, right? Where it's like, I'm going to get a puppy. Now he shows really good when he's young, and then when he hits maturity, just flat.
Yeah. Flat.
Right?
Yep.
And you're just like, oh, God. Right? And then you spent all that time, right?
That's it.
So, like, I think you're taking a risk either way.
For sure.
At least,
But it's more of a mitigated risk because you have control
for sure.
of the environment.
You do your best judgment.
It's the classic
and
nature
hope
versus
you get
nurture,
it right.
right?
That's
you
right.
know?
Yeah.
Let's rewind a little bit as well. Before the puppy, did you select the right puppy?
Yeah.
Come to us. If you need help, come to us and we'll help you. I will guide you to the breeders that you need to talk to instead of just going to the pound and picking up a shepherd and expecting him to do the protection work.
I think one of the common things that we get all the time is the phone rings and people are like, I have a dog, I want to do protection.
No,
That's
99% of them are just, oh, sorry. You need
Yeah,
a dog.
and then they walk in the door and they have a show line shepherd, but he's a German shepherd. Yeah, but he's a show line shepherd.
Yeah.
He's not meant for this.
That's right.
This is not for him.
Yeah. I think
It's like showing up to the track with a Toyota Corolla. It's a car.
Yeah, it's a
It's
car,
a car.
but it's not going to win
Sure,
the
it
race,
goes,
right?
Yeah. But, okay, that's a good point. And how much, for people that maybe don't know, how much are protection dogs? Like, how much would a well-trained, ready to kind of go dog, cost the average person?
I think it really depends on the company. Right? It depends on how much work they're putting into the dog and how
What the
to be
dog's
quite
gonna do.
honest- To be quite honest, how well is the company at marketing their dogs? You will see these companies that are charging $400,000 or $500,000 for a dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're a better dog than
mean-
what we're selling. Maybe not.
Sure.
And yeah, it's even hard to put an average on it because it's just so all over the board. Again, it depends. Like, what what level is the dog at? Like, is he just a deterrent dog? Is he a hardened warrior? What is he? Right? Because obviously that's gonna affect everything.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
I'd
it's
say the real
tough to
sweet
say.
spot with what we're having success with that is reasonable
Yep.
would be between $30,000 to $60,000
Okay.
per dog.
Okay. And curious, you guys train service dogs at all as well? Is that a
We do
service you
that
guys
as
offer
well,
too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And service dog work, like that needs to be done at the beginning, right? Like you can't really train a service dog later on as much.
The
right?
exposure needs to be done early on. I wouldn't say the obedience of the tasks are being done early on. That's not as crucial, but the fundamental exposure. Again, selection. We talk about that because it is huge. Selecting the right dog early on and exposing them to the different environments that the end user is going to be visiting and frequenting, that's huge.
Yeah.
We do the training and all the task training afterwards.
And that's another scenario too, where there are people that come to us with adult dogs, right? And it's like, okay, let's look at the dog.
Yeah.
We gotta set the expectations. What do you need the dog to do?
Yep.
Right. So we're gonna test the environmentals. We're gonna test the temperament of that dog. We're gonna, okay, is this dog safe? Is he reactive towards dogs, people?
Yep.
How does he do in these different scenarios? And if we think the dog is well rounded, then yeah, we can maybe take that on, and we have different avenues in which we've had people, we've coached people train their own dogs.
Yep.
Right. We've had board and train scenarios where they stay with us. So it just, again, I think it's about being flexible and really, I mean, either whether it's protection or service, I think really sitting down with that client and getting to know them and being like, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? And can we get you there?
There is a little bit of that misconception where I get people all the time that come to me, their dogs jumping and pulling and barking. Like, oh, and also I want them to be a service dog.
Yes.
Like, okay, well, just get
That's
that
a
out of your
song
head.
that gets sung
No,
all the
time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll say like, okay, what service you want them to provide?
Yes.
Oh, I just want to be able to bring them places.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's not a
That's
that's
not a
not what
service
service
dog.
service means. They're trained to detect your blood sugar is low, or they're trained to open doors if you're physically restricted, right? So
we actually require a note from a doctor saying that you need this dog.
That's the first
I
step.
think people also don't understand maybe the difference between like
Emotional
therapy
support.
dog, emotional support dog, and a service dog. Those are different. Nothing against that. That's if your dog can get to that point where they're neutral enough to go to a hospital or an old folks home or whatever. Great, amazing, good for you,
100%.
and that's great. But that's not a service dog. I think people need to
For sure.
And what
understand
people
that.
need to understand is one's protected under AODA in Ontario, the other isn't.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Right. And just because your dog's an emotional support dog does not mean that they're allowed in a restaurant or on the plane or whatever.
And I think if we did that, everybody would have a dog everywhere.
yeah,
That's right.
Right.
Which
And
we're kind of trending towards, anyways. But,
for sure. But I mean, and not that that's a bad thing.
Yeah, no,
Listen,
and
I
I'm
would,
not-
I would
I'm not
love
hating
that.
on
I would
it.
love that personally. But again, it's like, is it necessary? Because the average person, you know, like there's a responsibility that comes with that.
for sure.
Right. So, you know, it's the whole adage that one person will wreck it for everybody.
Yep.
Right. So I think it's super important that the people that need them have them, and the emotional support stuff is not that I'm against it.
No, I gotcha.
But I mean, I think we have to tread lightly before it's nobody's allowed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It takes one incident and it's going to be bad for the entire industry.
sure.
Right.
And what kind of, you know, you talk about selecting the right puppy and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Do you guys have certain breeds or things that you like to work with most or?
For service?
In general, I mean, I'm sure if we go protection, it's going to be Mals and Shepherds. And, you know,
You got it.
I can kind of guess that answer. But yeah, it just in general, do you guys maybe have certain breeds you like to work with most or?
I hate to do this to you, but again, depends.
Yeah.
Right? Does the client need
Yeah.
a smaller dog?
Yeah.
Do they want to travel lots and just need
What if
a
it's
smaller
your dog? Let's say you're picking a new
If
puppy
I
tomorrow.
had to pick a
Yeah,
dog for
yeah.
service,
Just this is going to be your dog.
well, that's I mean, my dog.
We go back and forth on this
We
all
can,
the time.
yeah, I mean, it just again depends. My personal dogs, my favorite dog's my pit bull. Right, I have a bull herder.
Nice.
I have a bull terrier. I have a pit lab cross.
You got a lot. You got a lot of dogs.
You know, I'm a big bully fan. I like the blockheads. Just
Yeah.
no particular reason.
Yeah.
I just like them. I find them easy to live with, intense in the work.
Nice.
You know, I love Mouse too, but like, do I want to live with a Mal? I don't know.
That's
not.
the
You know,
thing. Right?
I love the workability of the Mal.
And that's a trendy thing right now, right?
For
Everyone
sure.
wants Mals, but it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you just got your G1 and you want to go get a Ferrari. Like, you know, I don't know if you're ready for all that for the average person. You know,
I think for me, I actually probably can answer this question. If I had to go back and do it again and I had the space, I think I would just go with a herder, half Mal, half Shep.
nice.
I really like those dogs that I've
High
worked
drive,
with.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but they got the off switch. I find like, you know, they're very intense in work. They're very willing to work. They're eager, but they turn off a little easier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and that's assuming you get the best of both worlds, right? And it's not always the case.
true.
But
That's
the
a good
ones
point.
that we've been blessed enough that the ones that we've seen have just been great dogs
Yeah.
all the way around, right?
I'm starting to think about what I want next, and I kind of want small, medium, big. I've never had a small dog, I think, but I still want to draw. You know, I'm thinking border terrier. You know, because again, drivey enough.
Yeah.
You know, little Napoleon complex
Yeah.
can keep up with the big dogs,
Yeah.
but I think I'm gonna go.
I mean, anytime you put terrier behind it, you know,
Right?
you know,
That, I see. I
that
wanted a
dog's
Jack
gonna go,
Russell when I
right?
was younger, but now looking back, I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't get one. But yeah, I think border terrier. I kind of want a Brittany Spaniel.
Yeah.
I think they're
They're cool
again,
little dogs.
Yeah, they're
right?
fun little dogs,
And
and
then-
drivey. You know,
Exactly,
they're
drivey
working
enough.
breed, right?
Like you don't want to do agility. You want to do. You know, they're
sure.
capable, right? But and then maybe a Roddy, but we'll see. You know?
Roddy, yeah.
Yeah, it might be an interesting mix.
So
but
hard to find a good one.
I know that's the thing. That's the thing. But
And it's you know, you need. I think with Roddies, you got to know what you're doing because they can be very oppositional dogs.
yes, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
So how you train them is important because you can wreck that relationship pretty quick.
Yeah,
With,
very
with,
quick.
with
Absolutely.
them, right?
And that thing,
So-
once it, you know, goes, again, big ones, they can get 120, 130 pounds and
Yep.
you're screwed at that point if
Wow,
that thing
they're
doesn't
big,
want
they're
to.
strong, they know it, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's, you know, I find I don't mind that breed. I know you're not the biggest fan of them. Again, I'm a blockhead kind
Fair,
of guy
yeah.
though, right? And you know, I kind of like the challenge of them a little bit. And I think if you get it right, they're really good dogs.
What, shifting a little bit to like the pet dog obedience, what kind of issues do you guys find you're getting called for the most? Like what do most people struggle with that they're, you know, hey, I need help with X, Y, and Z?
The most common ones are the real simple ones. Dogs pulling on a leash, barking at other dogs, exhibiting behaviors that the dog's breed is predisposed to, right? Barking, lunging, pulling, jumping.
I think reactivity is one that's coming up a lot lately.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yep.
And with breeds that usually aren't.
And I'm noticing a lot of fear reactivity.
Big time.
Right? A lot of
Big
dogs,
time.
I don't know, for whatever reason, are a lot more fearful now than even when I started this, whatever, 9 years ago. I'm seeing a lot more fear-based behaviors.
And you get the COVID answer. He's a COVID dog.
Yeah, yeah, get that a lot.
Right? And all I hear is
Which-
the dog wasn't exposed.
Exactly, right?
Right.
They lacked socialization, exposure. Everyone was working from home, so they never got alone time. So that's a big one, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, I don't know if you guys do it the same way. I'm assuming probably, but I'll get called. My dog pulls on leash. My dog reacts. My dog, this, that, whatever. And I'll say, okay, no problem. Let's go inside. Let's work inside. And they say, no, but my problems are outside. I say,
Right.
you think they are,
Yeah.
but they start here. For
sure.
Right. Again, if you don't have engagement, if your dog doesn't have impulse control, all those behaviors. My dog counter surfs. My dog pulls. My dog jumps. My dog barks. As much as they seem like separate behaviors, it's all just your dog's demanding, right?
sure.
Your dog is no impulse control and is very demanding, hasn't learned to ask nicely, doesn't have manners. So as much as sometimes behaviors seem separate, they're really a microcosm of the same thing
For sure.
coming out
And
in different ways.
It's about creating value in task.
Yep.
Right, where it's like a lot of those issues. That's just a bored dog self-rewarding on
Yeah.
things to keep itself entertained. So if we can channel that stuff into constructive behaviors, that's the start of everything.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have that, you don't have anything.
And so maybe you can elaborate on that because I think maybe, again, the average person doesn't understand what a trainer means when we say like your dog needs a job, right? Which structure, right? All these kind of words that all really mean the same thing.
Sure.
How could you maybe elaborate on that, someone for saying, what does that mean for my dog?
So think of it this way, right? Like we have these animals that, if they were out in the wild, they're running around hunting all day, sniffing stuff, tracking things down. They're very observant animals. We stick them in a box, and we give them a rubber toy, and we go, why is he bored?
Yeah.
Right? He gets out for a walk with my 2 slow legs, and he's got 4 fast ones.
Yeah.
And he's pulling on that leash because I'm slow and boring. And he's got no value in interacting with me because I've never given any mental satiation. So he's using the environment instead. And then I say, why am I having these problems?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's 100% it. And also, we say give your dog a job. That can be
Obedience.
it could be almost anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could be something simple like, my golden retriever grabs shoes when we come in the door. Okay, so maybe now we teach them to bring a toy to the guest, right? That way they're scratching that itch of wanting something in their mouth and retrieving, but now you've shifted that behavior into something that doesn't bother you, doesn't, annoy you, right? And so everyone's happy, right? So when we say give your dog a job, that can really be anything.
I love the place command for that.
Yeah, place, 100%.
Go sit on your place.
Yeah.
The dog's itching. He's thinking about it. He wants to leave.
I think a common problem is people projecting obviously human emotions onto their dog, and they associate
Anthropomorphism.
100%, 100%. People and
If
people,
I could say it, then
yeah, I know it's a hard word to say, but I got you.
I'm a dog trainer, not a scientist.
People I think associate like a dog being calm or bored with sad. Yes. Right?
Yes.
Oh, he's just
Yes.
he's laying there. He's so sad. He's so bored. No, he's calm. He's relaxed.
Yeah,
He's, it's
And,
not.
and I think often too, and I love that you brought that up because I think one of the things that we see when a dog leaves our board and train program is the dog goes home and he's chill.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think he's depressed. I'm like, no, he's just satiated.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah.
Like you just never seen him relaxed.
Yes.
And that's what it is. He's been in this high state of arousal his entire life. And now that he knows how to regulate those emotions and calm himself, you're interpreting it as depression.
Yes.
The dog's actually relaxed. He's calm. He's zen now.
And people, I think that's another key thing is, like I want to train him, but like I don't want him to be a robot, right? Like that's something you
another
might
one.
hear.
Yes, often.
It's like
Often.
so just because your dog is under control now, it doesn't mean they don't have a personality anymore, right?
And I think I think when I hear that term anyway, the way I interpret that when somebody brings that comment to me is like I think they think we're going to keep the dog under obedience all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, no, when I want it, we get it. And when the dog's got his time, he gets his time.
Exactly.
But, I think for me, he's not getting that time until he earned it.
Yeah.
And the more I can get him to work for me, the more time I can trust him on his own.
Yep. And I
Right?
think all the obedience ends up becoming, sort of just like muscle memory and reward history. And they become tools in your toolbox.
100%.
And, that allows me that if I'm on a hike, and a jogger is passing,
For sure.
I can call my dog off the trail, have him heel for 30 seconds, let the jogger pass, and now he gets
free
his
him up
freedom
again.
again, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So it's not that you need to have your dog in a focused heel 24/7. That's not realistic, and that's not.
For most dogs, even the pet dogs,
Yeah.
the work in and of itself becomes rewarding.
Yes.
Because we pair it with so much positivity,
right.
Yep.
so much reward.
Yep.
The down, the dog is happy to do it.
100%.
Right? My dog, if I say yes or I ask him to down,
Yep.
he's drooling because he knows there might be food.
Yep.
There may not be food, but
Yep.
there might be food. And that hope is so, it's
And
huge.
the game becomes a reward, right? Because
sure.
bonding, you're spending time together. It's a mental challenge. You're figuring out, their problem solving. So
Desire
yeah,
to perform task.
totally.
Right?
So,
and you can tell that when you ask it, right? Down, bang.
Yep.
That dog
Is it
just
sharp?
hits the
Is it-
deck like faster than gravity can pull him.
Yeah.
down. You know what I mean? And that's like, hey, that dog's quite comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Like, look at that effort that he put into that. He's enjoying this.
Yes.
If he wasn't, he wouldn't use that much enthusiasm.
Yeah. No,
Right?
100%.
If he hated the way we trained, he would be, that would be a slow, creepy down.
Yeah,
right?
like a reluctant.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Where it's just like, oh, do I have to? And I think that's all in your foundation.
And
where
there are fearful dogs
Sure.
that would 100% exhibit behavior like you mentioned,
Yes.
slow, reluctant, down.
yes,
But that's how the dog came in.
And also, I think that's, again, maybe when your dog gets to a certain point where they're sharp, they know the behavior. Okay, that's one thing. But I think a lot of times there's also the idea that delay equals disobedience, right? Like maybe you ask your dog to do something and it like maybe takes a second to process what you ask and then it goes and you're like, oh, like it didn't listen, right? But again, there's dogs barking, kids playing ball over here. Like it just took a second to register. And delay doesn't always, especially at the beginning, right? Delay doesn't equal disobedience necessarily.
absolutely. Dogs aren't as quick as us. It takes them longer to process information, right? Especially in high levels of distraction.
That's right.
Totally.
Right? They we talk about ADHD now. Like dogs are ADHD to the max.
Squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
All
Squirrel,
the dogs-
shiny, whatever,
dogs all
right?
have- they all have TikTok brain.
Yeah,
like-
exactly, right? So, I think, if you could ask that same dog to down in a quiet room and get that snappy response, you take him out to the park and he's doing it.
Yeah,
He's not
the
nearly
sharpness
as quick.
isn't quite as there. That's okay.
Yeah.
It just means keep practicing,
For
like
sure.
level it up
For
again,
sure,
right? So,
100%. I think you're never done, right? Like there's
yeah.
always room to
and that's where I
improve.
think as we add like the 3Ds, right? If your dog can do it sharp in your family room when it's quiet, that's great,
great.
right? That's step one.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe when your 90% result in the family room, when you go in your backyard or the park, maybe that 9 out of 10 turns to a 6 out of 10, and that's okay. It just means you're going to build it
got
back
something
up
to do.
and
Just
Generalize.
work to do.
Generalize it in
generalize,
different
proofing a
environments, for
behavior.
sure.
Yeah, totally.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you feel about, do you try to consciously integrate like pre-macking into your training where, again, it can work for us, it can work against us, where maybe your dog associates, oh, every time I get in the car, I end up at the vet and I hate the vet, so now I hate the car, right? So it can work for us, it can work against us, but you kind of try to consciously implement pre-macking into your training programs or do you just kind of let it kind of develop as it develops?
I mean, I think I approach every situation as it comes up.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like the dog's going to dictate what we need to do and how we're going to get there. And kind of it's a very personalized approach for
Yep.
me. Like if I had a dog that was hesitant to get in the car because he only went for the vet, well, maybe we're just going to try to make the car fun and we're not even going to go anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Maybe we're going to open both doors and whip a ball through the back seat and just let him run through and go get it.
And I think a lot of people, even like I was saying before, where like they just want to start outside working on the reactivity.
Sure.
I think people either they don't understand or they just want quick results, but breaking that goal down into smaller doses, right? Shaping it, right? So maybe, your goal is to drive to the vet. Okay, that's great. Maybe at first, just getting your dog to put their paws in the trunk,
Yeah.
reward, let them get out, right? Maybe go in, reward. Maybe you back out of the driveway, you come back in, 10
Start
seconds.
the car, turn it off, let him out.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Close the door, open
sure,
it,
it's
let 'em
annoying,
out.
it's tedious, it's repetitive, but that's how your dog's going to learn.
But it's necessary.
Right? It's exactly giving them small wins and then breaking that goal down, giving some small wins, and then building it back up.
A big explanation for how I explain this to some clients is your dog is going to learn very similar to an autistic person. And that's not to be mean.
No,
they learn
yeah.
in pictures.
Yeah.
Right? If you show an autistic kid a picture of a red car, if you show them a black car, in their mind, that's not a car because it's not red. They haven't seen enough pictures to generalize.
As in generalized, yeah. Yep.
That's it. Right?
And then
It's generalized differently. That's all.
And to dumb it down even more, everybody, and especially I think too, with all there's a lot of different opinions on dog trainings, a lot of different techniques, and a lot of people are expecting instant gratification. Okay, I came in this hour, we're gonna have sits downs and plays today. no, it's not realistic. And I always explain it to them like, listen, did you go to college before you finished kindergarten?
Yeah. Yep.
Because your dog's no different. Why are you setting the bar so high for him? And you're not setting him up for success. You got to take him to kindergarten, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, middle school.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to
and
read a
high
word
school,
before you read a
college.
sentence. You got to read a sentence before you read a paragraph.
That's
You gotta-
right.
you're not reading the book on the first day.
That's right,
Like,
right.
yeah.
And I think that expectation that a lot of people put upon their own dogs and they don't achieve ends up them being frustrated,
Yep.
the dog being frustrated, and it just makes a whole car accident of a training scenario.
Totally.
It is heavy. It is heavy for the dogs to bear that kind of weight.
It is
Right.
because
When
you're
you
not
own
setting
it.
them up to succeed.
That's right.
Right. And so I think, managing your expectations at first, right? Taking what you can get and then shaping it, molding it into what you want it to be.
100%.
Right.
100%. 100%. And trying to take stress out of the training.
Yeah. Make it
You know,
fun.
you want to make it as stress-free as possible. I mean, there's going to come times and there's going to come scenarios where we want to add a little bit of stress.
Yep. Totally.
But
Stress is not the enemy.
incrementally,
Not at all.
right? And not too much at once.
Yeah.
You know, do I want to show the dog what a little bit of pressure is like and how to relieve that pressure? Absolutely, because that dog's going to be confident. Hey, I know what to do here,
Yep.
right?
And so maybe if you can kind of, talk a little bit about the role of stress when it comes to building a resilient dog, building confidence, because I think a lot of people have the human, again, anthropomorphizing, and I don't think I said that right.
I didn't either, but don't worry.
It's okay. No, at some point, Ryan, you can say it wrong too. We'll go
Yeah.
0 for 3. That's fine. Projecting these human emotions, we're like, again, it's human nature. You see your kid's stress, you want to relieve that stress for them,
Yeah,
right?
that's a big one.
But that's a trap. That's a convenient
Yes,
trap.
absolutely.
Right? Your dog being a little, again, we're not trying to traumatize them, but them working through a little bit of stress and going, that wasn't so bad, is going to build confidence in themselves, confidence in you as their handler, right? So how do you kind of go about maybe like building confidence in a dog or even just a puppy? Like how do you kind of go about that?
Stress is huge in nature, right? There is no life without stress.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
Right? It's unavoidable. Now, to create situations where we can control the amounts of stress is also important, right? Not overdoing it for the dog, but also showing them enough stress that's enough.
Yeah.
As little as possible, or as much as possible, as little as needed by the dog.
Yeah.
Right. So, and just showing
Sort
them
of like a
how to relieve-
Lima sort of approach to it.
sort of.
Yeah.
Yes. Just teaching them how to overcome the stress, so they become resilient. Right.
Yeah.
I think step one for me, and as somebody that does a pile of private sessions, classes and stuff, and I think step one is getting to the owner, because I think a lot of these dogs that don't know how to handle stress, it's learned helplessness.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? It's that if I put the brakes on, mommy makes it or daddy makes it go away,
And that becomes
And
self-rewarding.
that's
Yeah.
right.
How many clients do we get where their dogs can't even jump into the car?
into
But
the
they're
car,
physically
or
capable.
go through a doorway,
Right.
and because they're not getting carried, or they can't even walk without, especially, I mean, this is more for the little dogs. But I think it's important to educate the owners on, hey, listen, sometimes you just got to show them they got to try.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. And a lot of times what dogs do is they put a mental block on themselves, and they're like, I've never tried this and nothing bad's ever happened because of it.
Yep.
So I'm like, hey buddy, just give me one shot here. And then they have that aha moment. Oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yes.
And now I can build upon that.
And I think that even goes like towards separation anxiety, right?
Same
like
thing, yeah.
people hear their dog, freaking out in the crate, and it sounds like they're getting tortured, but
Yep.
they're okay. They're just working through it, right? But it's okay. I'll just let them sleep in our bedroom. I'll sleep on the couch next to them tonight or whatever, right? And it's a convenient trap, right? Because you're creating a codependent dog. And again, to go back to the COVID dogs, right? All these dogs that never had alone time, never had exposure, that now every little thing stresses them out. Like, oh my God, what's that? Oh my God, what's that?
And even on that, sometimes it's not even stress. Sometimes it's manipulation.
That too, yeah.
Where the dog's gone. They're all about finding an advantage.
It's the kid that's learned that if I fake a tummy ache, I don't have
That's
to go
right.
to school anymore. Yeah.
That's right.
Which I used to be, but
Yeah, I mean, I actually just had a client in that her dog had broken her leg 2 years ago. And the dog has now learned that she tries to fake mom out. When he doesn't want to do something, he lifts the leg that he broke. Okay, it was 2 years ago, dude. Your leg's fine, right? But
Yeah.
that's how clever
Dogs
they
are
are.
master
They're
manipulators.
super clever. That's what
Yeah.
makes them successful, right?
100%. I'm
And
not saying it as a negative, but
yeah, for sure. But I think what it is about getting through to the people that, hey, like, I don't think your dog is actually that stressed out here. I think he's just using you or manipulating
Yeah.
you to get his finest advantage.
Yep.
And that's hard for a lot of people because they
Dogs-
know he loves me. Like,
Yeah, but it's not a love
would never
issue,
do
right?
that
It's
to me.
dogs are going to try to find the path of least resistance
That's
to get
right.
to what they want, whatever
right.
it is in that moment.
100%.
Right? And so once we understand that, now we can kind of manipulate the environment, manipulate the behavior to achieve even a small win in trending in the direction of our ultimate goal, right?
sure.
But yeah, I think, and you know, to that point, I've been kind of asking everybody, but because I want to dispel this, you know, maybe you'll disagree with me, but bringing a pup out before it has all its shots. What are your thoughts?
Do it, but do it wisely.
agree. Yep.
Wisely, right?
Absolutely.
That's such a small window to expose them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at a young age, you know, sometimes even before they get their shots, they're a sponge. They're going to absorb everything in
That
the
fear
world.
period, it
it's-
is when it is.
it's when
Shots
that-
or no
if you-
shots,
that-
COVID or no COVID, that's when your
right.
dog's developing.
Get
You
them
got
out,
to get
expose
you got to
them.
get that dog out while that brain's developing,
That's
or they will hit a block. They will hit a plateau.
No, you have to do it wisely. They're not
Yes.
protected against
Yeah.
all the
No, don't-
diseases, so don't go to a dog park.
Yeah.
Don't go to
The daycares, the dog
highly
parks.
trafficked
Control
areas.
Yeah.
Risk, yes.
I mean, at the end of
Not
the
even
day,
risk, but, like,
at
you know
the
what I
end
mean,
of
yeah.
the day, too, like a lot of these diseases that we're vaccinating our dogs against, they're not running rampant.
Yeah.
You know, like there's not an outbreak.
Well, that's the thing. You're not.
know?
I tell my clients, your dog's not going to get rabies if you take him to home sense.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
You're okay.
Yeah, like,
you're
yeah.
fine. You know, like
Yeah.
you're,
Unless the
so-
cashier has rabies.
Yes, well, yeah, honestly, these days.
but that's highly unlikely as well, right? So
Yeah, no,
again,
100%.
you know, it's that whole fear thing, right? Like it's like I always tell people, your dog's not made of sugar.
Yeah, they're not.
Right?
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not
made
made
of
of glass.
sugar,
Let them,
you know?
learn to be resilient. Totally.
Sure, 100%, right? Like we do all these things to comfort them, and I think mentally we crush them. Oh, he needs a soft bed. He needs 100 toys. He needs this. He needs that. I'm like,
At the
a
end of the
dog
day,
out there,
they're
out in the
animals.
wild, going to sleep in the mud and
Yeah,
the
that's
dirt.
right.
He doesn't care.
Yep.
At the end of the day,
Right?
they're animals.
Yeah, 100%.
We cannot anthropomorphize them.
No.
I said it correctly.
There
Did
you
you
go.
get it? Did you get it? Because I didn't.
You had to
I-
squeeze that one in
I,
there.
I mumbled right through that one. Tripped on my own tongue.
No, and it's 100% correct, right? And I mean, and that's something I think that has changed a lot in the industry. Like I look at, you know, my parents' dogs, right? They lived outside. They ate whatever they ate for dinner. They didn't, you know,
Different mindset.
It was chained. It had a. Granted, my grandfather, my nonno, was a contractor. He built it like a 2-story doghouse, but
nice.
it lived outside on a 30-foot chain. It ate whatever they ate for dinner,
Yep.
right? And now I think
Yep.
we've went so the other
Sure.
way, where, you know, oh, if my dog doesn't wear their booties, you know,
Yeah.
they can't walk in the
Yeah,
rain.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it's like,
I always challenge and I always thought about this. I'm like, I wonder if separation anxiety even existed back in the 50s, back in the 40s.
yeah, honestly,
When
it's a good-
dogs were
good
treated like
question.
dogs,
Probably
right?
not.
Like, is it learned or
Yeah.
is this something that's like can possibly be genetic? And I mean, I don't have the answer, but I would suspect it's more created.
And you know what? Again, not to put, you know, others, but like you look at even the rise in everything, depression and anxiety in humans, right? And how much of it, you know, I hear my grandparents like, back in my day, we didn't have
Yep.
depression. We had
Yep.
World War II. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we didn't have time to be depressed. You have
We
to
didn't,
go
we didn't
do
have
it-
depression. We had the Great Depression.
Exactly. Right. And I think, you know, a bored mind, you
Yeah.
know, dogs the same way. A dog that is bored, full of energy, not fulfilled, or, you know, genetically and biologically, that's a dog that's going to give you behavior you don't like.
For sure.
Right. However that comes out, barking, lunging, growling, digging, you know, whatever. Right. But yeah, a dog that is bored will develop undesirable behavior.
100%.
Right.
There's you know, people forget, like, especially with the purebred dogs. I mean, they're kind of wired to do something, and then we, you know, we're like, oh, I bought him because he looked good.
Yeah.
And then we fault them for doing the
And
things
that they were bred
Exactly.
to do.
Right.
Exactly.
And you see it all the time with collies. You know, like hurting people and nipping at. Well, give that dog, move that behavior to something constructive.
Totally.
Because you're not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the giving them a job, right?
For
Giving them a
sure.
productive task.
Yeah, go get a jolly ball. Let them herd that around the yard.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Give him an outlet that, you know, something to that effect, because that dog's brain's just telling him he's got to do that.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you don't move that behavior somewhere, the dog's going to move it somewhere.
You're right. And then, you know, if you leave it up to them to decide how that behavior comes out, and, you know, again, you're not going to like
What he
happens.
picks.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know?
How do you kind of go about building drive in, you know, maybe, you know, I work with, you know, rescue dogs that are scared of men, scared of hands, scared of, you know, doesn't want my food, doesn't want the toy. So how do you kind of go about building drive in maybe a dog that is more on the fearful, nervous side?
I think first off, you can't build drive that's never there to begin with. The dog isn't there genetically. You can't build past that. You can build frustration for certain things, withholding food, maybe using a back tie. You can build some frustration to manipulate drive, but you can't create drive. It's in there or it's not, right? The dog is driven to do something like chase a rag, or the dog is not, right? So we can't inherently create drive. We can just use frustration to our advantage.
Okay.
I think we can, like I mentioned, right, just kind of use frustration. So if the dog hasn't eaten in 2 days, he's going to be hungry.
Yep.
I think we can build value I don't know if I'd use the word drive, right? Like
Yeah.
if I had a dog that doesn't
You're saying
have,
drive is more just inherent.
like it's more of a, for me, it's more of a genetic thing. Like, you know
Or
what I
maybe
mean?
maybe motivation. Maybe that's
Sure,
a better,
motivation. I like
better
that word,
Yep.
right? Like, or value is what
Yep.
I use value with my clients. Build value, make the dog want to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ways we can do it. I mean, if I have a shy dog, like half the time they're not even going to take food. I'm going to try to use fun.
Yeah.
Let's just go out and like have fun. I'll use affection. I'll be like, hey, I'm just going to sit with you. One of my favorite things to do with a nervous dog is go out for a long line walk where the dog can take the space.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Where
Let
I'm
them
not
have that
stuck to
ability to,
him
like,
at
kinda
6
walk
feet.
away a
Yeah,
little
I'll
bit
put
if
him
they
on a
want
20-foot line. Boom, go ahead, buddy. Let's just walk together. Right? And I ignore him. And I just walk. And I like taking him in the woods and letting him sniff and remember what it's like to be a dog.
Yeah.
Right? And then you start to see them start to open up and they start to close that distance. And I try not to force it.
Yeah.
And then once you get that, I mean, without a relationship, I don't think you're getting anywhere with any dog, especially a shy or nervous one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think you have to take that time, I think, and really get that dog to trust you.
Totally.
And then you can start asking for some stuff.
Absolutely. So what year did you start Noble Canine? When did you guys
2019.
2019. Okay. And did you open your facility immediately or when did
I started out with private sessions in people's houses.
Yep.
And then we slowly moved into board and train because a lot of COVID happened.
Yep.
Right. So we weren't able to just go to people's houses without a mask on and all these things. Started doing board and trains out of my house.
Okay.
Right. Moved into a bigger house.
Yep.
Used a garage. And here we are now with a 40 dog
40
kennel.
dog facility.
Wow.
Right.
Good for you
I
guys.
skipped a
And-
few parts in there. That was just
That's right.
hard work. But it's
What advice or you know, kind of, you know, hindsight's 2020. If you could go back to when you first opened the facility, what maybe challenges you know came up that you didn't think would be challenges, or you know, what would you tell yourself then to kind of now? Or for somebody maybe looking, like I've been looking for a facility, what advice would you maybe give another trainer looking to kind of follow that route?
For sure. I think a big part of it was just the mentality that we may get clients tomorrow, we may not. And getting into this big financial commitment.
Yeah, because you're betting on yourself, right? Like you got rent to pay now, right?
are.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. I haven't been here since day one. I have been here since we started growing exponentially, I think. I think scaling it's real difficult, right? Because like you guys said, there's bills to pay. There's almost a bit of a benefit in staying smaller, right?
Yep.
I think one of the challenges that we're facing currently is at the speed that we're growing. I mean, thank God we've got a decent team behind us or a good team
problem.
behind us, right? But I mean, we've invested in our people,
Yep.
right? Because the only way to meet to meet this volume is to have people that can work independently, right? So I think in finding the right people, and for us, it's about attitude, right? I don't care what you know. I'm hiring you on your attitude and your work ethic.
Absolutely.
I'll teach you the rest.
Skills, exactly. Skills can be taught. Attitude, again, inherent, kind of like drive. Where, I find the same thing. And I try to, you know, I'm growing my team a little bit now. Again, we're still kind of just doing private sessions, group classes, you know, minimal board and trains. And same kind of thing is I don't want ego. You know what I mean? Like I'm not approaching, even though it's my company, I'm not approaching it like I know everything and you're gonna have to do it my way. I'm sure I can learn something from my apprentice that they can learn
100%.
from me. And I want them to feel comfortable having that open dialogue of, hey, how come we're doing it like this? What if we tried it that way?
It's been instrumental. It has been, right? Because I don't have all the answers
Yeah.
and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. For
sure.
Right. So that's huge. We bounce ideas, like I said. Sure.
Between our whole team, we've got we don't have two people that came from the same
That's awesome.
background, right?
That's good. And I think, you know,
and that's what makes our team versatile, though. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, what are you seeing? What are you seeing?
because you're only as strong as your weakest link,
right,
right?
that's
So having a good team around you, you know, allows you to grow in that way and trust other people.
And we back our teams. I've seen other training facilities where it's a competition between trainers. Like it's an ego based thing. It's like we're the same entity.
That's right.
Yeah, which
Right?
is good.
Like-
Now, I think a little bit of healthy competition can push you and motivate you to improve.
Of course.
But yeah, if it's
Keeping
coming
it
from
healthy.
a place of ego,
Keeping it
Yeah.
healthy.
yes,
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm huge on like, hey, like let's grow together. Like if you got something for me, show me. I've asked employees like before where it's like they were uncomfortable with some things going on. I said, well, listen, why don't you show me some stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Like we're open here. Like I don't care if I'm your boss.
Yeah.
If you see something, I want to know. Right? I've had apprentices that come out of the woodwork and it surprises the heck out of me. Like I didn't think of that.
yeah.
You know, because I think there is a bit of an aspect of creativity
For sure.
in this
Yeah,
business,
just abstract
right?
thinking, right?
For
Thinking,
sure. Look
not
outside the
one-dimensionally.
box. Yeah. Like I don't think it's a linear process at all.
I agree.
I mean, how many U-turns do you make? In
Yeah, the school of hard knocks.
For sure, and we all do it, right? You make your best judgment, but you got to know when to pull the chute and adjust too, right? And you're not always right. And I think a big asset of a good dog trainer is being able to leave the ego at the door and adjust.
To say, oh, you know what? My approach on this one, I was a little off.
100%. And it's about the dog at the end of the day. 100%. It's not about my ego.
That's the thing. It can become about like, no, I know I can get it this way. I can, and that's where then you're doing a disservice to the client and the dog.
That's right.
Because even if you can get it that way, if that's not the best way to do it for this situation, then adjust. Right?
And that's the hard thing for a lot of people to navigate, where it's like we're getting results, but could they be better?
Yeah. Yep.
And the only way to find that out sometimes is to be like, well, I'm going to just make an adjustment
a little
here.
trial and error.
Just see how the dog responds to it.
Yeah.
And hey, maybe I'm going in the right direction, or maybe I learned what I'm not going to be doing.
Yeah.
Right?
But just like dogs,
that's just as valuable.
I was going to say that's valuable too, right? Mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are a chance to learn what worked and what didn't work.
That's right.
For us, for the dog, for everyone, right? So, I think, mistakes are, how many times do we maybe set a dog up to have a mistake in a controlled way, right? I'll leave the garbage can open with a long lead on, and I'll sit on the couch, pretend I'm not looking, and okay, I can get away with this. And they go in that garbage and give a little, okay, I can't do that, right? So mistakes are, sorry?
It is an opportunity to learn.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
I think when you introduce those opportunities is also important.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of people are too quick to go to that stuff first.
Yes.
Right? And I'm like, the dog's jumping. Okay, we'll set it up day one, start cracking the dog and correcting the dog for it, or before I've shown a replacement behavior. You know what I mean? Or before I have a relationship
100%.
with a dog, and now you have a shutdown dog in front of you, and you just may work harder for yourself.
I think you mentioned it pretty well there. It's just we hire for attitude.
Yep.
It's unfortunate because not a lot of people out there, even in the dog world, that don't look at mistakes as an opportunity to learn. They take it as a personal attack maybe, and we just can't. We do not bring on people like that to our team.
That's good, and I think that is a testament to, like you said, you're growing in this way, and obviously your community, there recognizes that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be as busy as you are, right? So I think that's a testament to how you've grown your business and how you've grown your team.
If I could kind of talk on that
please.
too, it's like I think a lot of our success is not just the dogs we're producing. I think it's the time that we take to nurture our relationships with our clients. I mean, we're only as good as our clients, right? Yep. And so we joke all the time, we're not in the dog business, we're in the people business. Right? Because if I think what makes the difference between a good dog training, and I like to use the word coach, not trainer, especially when I'm dealing with privates, even board and trains. I'm a coach, I'm not a trainer. Right? And my job is to not only figure out what the dog needs, but how I motivate that individual to do the work, to do what needs to happen. A big thing is people go home, but this came up and that came up. So I like to sit down, walk me through your day. Here's when you're going to do this. And I always tell them, don't take time out of your life. Train your dog to be a part of your life.
Integrate them into it.
That's right. And so, one of the ones I'll use at night when place command, when you're relaxing, teach your dog to be relaxed.
Yeah.
Right. And I try
to
just
have to be this separate thing.
Yeah. Because people are like, it's 3:00. We got to train. I'm like, I got a great dog at 3. Right. But the rest of the time, all bets are off. So I always try to, get to know the client
for sure,
and have that personal approach where they feel safe sharing information with me and they can come to me with stuff and I can offer them solutions, make adjustments.
It gets quite personal too, right? And that's why I think we do a good job. It's just nurturing those relationships. Sometimes clients will come in and tell us all about their life, all the struggles and their relationships, and it's because of the dog. There's a TV show about this. It's understandable, right?
Absolutely.
We had a client the other night that walked into the office and he's like, into the training facility, and the dog walks through the door, stud, right? Great behaved dog. He's like, it's not working at home. So get in the car, we're going to your house.
That's it.
And we got in the car and we went to his house. Right there on the spot.
And I'm sure they appreciate that,
big
right?
Time,
Absolutely.
big time. But we're there for them, right? And we're there to help them with their problems. And I can't fix a problem that's not happening in my facility.
Yeah. And I think that's, that is a fickle line. I was actually kind of going back and forth with this other trainer about this who, I was making the argument that, we're in the customer service business, right? As much as we're dog training, but we're in the customer service. Somebody hires you to help them do something, right? Like, what's a well-trained dog? Whatever that client wants, right?
What's it look like for them?
Exactly. It may be different for everyone.
Sometimes the standard is way lower than we even.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
It's
And
not, you know, like, okay, I wouldn't be, but if this person's happy with
happy.
this for them, then it's their life, it's their dog, right? And what we were kind of going back and forth about a little bit was this trainer was saying that if they had a client that wanted to use pee pads, they would just fire them as a client. Like, no, if you're too lazy to bring your dog out, then I don't want you as a client. And I said, like, I get that, but also, like, you know, again, I'm here in the GTA. I have clients on the 60th floor of a condo.
That's right.
I understand if you want to have your dog go on the balcony, like, I wouldn't want that for my dog, but like if that's going to be what you want help with, I'll help you accomplish
Being
that,
able
right?
to be adaptable.
Exactly. But that's where it comes into like, well, no, my way is the only way to do it. And this is how.
Or my standard. This dog's not leaving till he's on my standard.
Yep. Yep.
Like, you know, there's.
And I think that's different for a board and train because then that standard is going to be a direct reflection of kind of what you did during that time.
But there's that, like, you know, one thing we do offer in our board and trains, we have a formal recall and an informal recall. And I would be willing to bet a lot of times, like, people don't care if the dog's got a flip finish. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're like, as long as he comes back to me. Do you know what I mean? And so there's like things like that where a lot of dog trainers will project how flashy it should look, how for a pet dog, like that's fantastic for a protection dog, for a sport dog. Most people don't care how flashy their
most
pet
people
is.
just want their dog to not be a chore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about having a focused heel. I just want my dog not to pull my arm off.
Yeah,
you know, when we go, right?
Can I walk my dog out and not
Which
know
is
he's
totally
beside
respectable,
me?
right?
Yeah.
For the average family, I just want my kids to be able to walk it and not have to worry. That's it. And you know what? Great, I'll help you accomplish that, right?
And maybe they do want the flash, but I think that
which
comes
is
from
awesome
talking
too.
to them,
It
right?
never
We have to
hurts
get to know
have
them.
high standards,
For
right?
sure.
If you want to continue leveling up your training, amazing. I definitely encourage that. But if you kind of plateau at a point where like, hey, listen, my dog is good in our lifestyle, doesn't cause us any issues, and that's good enough for us, also totally fine, right?
Yeah. You stop peeing in my shoes, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like that's we forget about that. I think as dog trainers sometimes, where we're like we're always reaching higher and higher and higher.
And we're reaching for those endeavors, like in sport, personal protections. We're aiming for huge success,
Perfection,
and,
right?
and we try to
perfection.
project that onto some of our clients, but it doesn't work.
And
that
there's
way.
times I'm sure, you know, I'll go to a dog that maybe is, you know, very well bred, good genetics, and I'm like, this dog has
wasted
another gear.
potential.
Yes,
I know,
yes,
I know what it could do.
That's
you know
a
what I mean?
heartbreaker. That one. That one's a heartbreaker. It's like, oh my God, like where did you find this dog? Like, you know what I mean? It's like he's got a lot of good stuff, and it's like, I just want to walk him.
Can I buy him?
Yeah.
Can I buy him? Yeah. But no, that's a tough one, you know. And I think too, like, I think my approach when that scenario comes in is to sit the client down and be like, you know how much potential this guy has. Let's get it out of him.
Yeah.
We've done it
You know,
before,
let's get it
where
out of him,
We saw
right?
Mal, for example, that the client didn't realize what he had. He just rescued him.
Yep.
And we just go pull out one of our dogs and we're like, do you want to do that? And he was
could have
sold.
this, yeah.
You could have this, right?
Yeah.
That, your dog wants to do this.
Yeah.
He was sold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's just by showing what we can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think not only are we there training dogs, I think the focus and the problem in the entire industry right now is like just the lack of knowledge the general public has on dogs, right? And the misconceptions they have of dogs.
I was actually just going to ask, what's one change you would like to see in the industry going forward?
There's a bunch. I
know we could list a shopping list.
Yeah, I mean, how do I'm just thinking how we word this, you know,
You know what? For me, it would be just not every dog is suitable for you.
Yeah.
And that's a reality.
Knowing
A lot
what
of
works for
people
your
need to-
lifestyle. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see people
Understand,
do
right?
more research into breed.
It's a good one.
Before they get that. There's a lot of junk out there now on the internet about how you should raise a dog, and unfortunately, or how you should care for a dog or train a dog or whatever, anything dog related. And I think we're just seeing more and more aggressive cases, nervous cases, and all of that stuff because of this humanization of dogs. Right? And I don't think we're really doing the dog justice. Like, they're never going to come up to our level. It's our job to go down to theirs.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we do. We're like the public in the intentions are all in the right spot. Right. Everybody's trying to love their dogs and trying to do what they feel or think is best. But I think just the whole landscape of misinformation that they have to navigate is overwhelming.
That's right.
And like, how do we fix that? I don't know. I think things like this are good for that. You know?
Just again, open forum kind of discussions.
Sure.
And I think that is the pro and the con of something like social media is information is readily available, but there's so much of it, and trying to for someone that doesn't know what they don't know, trying to weed through what is good information versus what is bad information can be overwhelming.
Also seems to spread like wildfire.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think too, with like, I call it emotional based training, where we're all trying to kind of accommodate, you know, how we think the dog feels or how the dog makes us feel.
Yep.
And we sometimes forget, especially, and I see it goes more like, how does the dog make somebody feel? And then they forget that, hey, there's something else that's living and breathing on the other end of this.
Yeah.
And we have to accommodate that.
Absolutely.
Right? If we want to be successful.
Totally.
And if we, and I think that part gets missed a lot now.
I think a common problem that also comes up is just vilifying certain tools.
Yes.
And not necessarily
Yes.
the user behind those tools.
Yes.
Right? It's not the tools that are inherently bad.
For sure.
It's how you can use it. I can use a hammer to build a house, but it's a lot faster using power tools.
My favorite analogy on this is when I use my clients, and I hope not too many people steal it, but I always, when I have a client sitting in my office saying, I don't like prong collars, I don't like e-collars, I always say, well, you know what, I agree with you 100% because I don't like the public having those tools either. I said, those tools are like an airplane. It's a great form of transportation unless you don't know how to fly it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then,
do you think the solution is more regulation?
100%.
Yeah.
I you know what, I don't agree with the public buying those tools. I think that you need to get instruction from somebody that knows how to use the tool, because in the wrong hands, it can be very dangerous. Those things can mentally hurt dogs big time and physically.
Now, the issue with regulation is the wrong bodies might be governing this.
That's the
If
problem.
you look around the world, in Europe, right, certain tools like the crates are being banned,
Which is
pretty silly.
Yeah.
It's pretty silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? That's
it is.
actually more dangerous.
Yeah, dogs
Because
are
if you
denning
can't
animals.
contain-
They want a den. That's
right.
what they.
Yeah.
That's inherent. Like again, that's inherent. That's
And misconception, like especially e-collars, my favorite thing to do when I have a client in the office and they're like, oh, shock collar?
Yep, yep.
And I'm like, come here.
Try it on.
I did. I put it on them, and I show them the level I condition their dog at. I'm like, why aren't you screaming in pain? They're like, is it on? I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Again, it's just that misconception. It's that kind of fear mongering a little
Yes.
bit. And
Fear of the
even-
unknown, right?
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
even that, e-collars are a relatively new tool, right? It's only come into training in what, maybe like last 10 years ish,
Absolutely.
kind of, right? So I think as more education gets out there, as more people experience it and kind of show you how to use it properly, it'll be less of an intimidating, scary thing. For
sure.
And people will be better at using it. But I think, until we get to that point, it is this kind of like daunting tool that, can be overwhelming for some people.
And I think too, like a part of that issue is like the process itself is so complicated. It's not a quick explanation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Like if it wasn't so lengthy that you could do a TikTok or something and change the mindset, but it's more complicated than that.
Are you guys of the belief, like, do you condition it? I know some trainers kind of just put it on and just use it.
No,
or-
well, I'm
has to
all
be
about
conditioned.
Yeah. I don't even like. I won't even put a prong collar on a dog, even if it's the biggest pull and jerk in the world, until I got a relationship. And I teach the leash pressure stuff with a slip or a flat first before I put it on. I want the dog to have some sort of understanding of how to turn that off.
Sometimes
so when
we'll
I go,
just free shape the behavior.
yep,
That too.
that's what I mean. Like
Because
I'll
leash
just,
pressure is just communication.
exactly.
Right? Yep.
So I'll teach it very low stress at first, and then as the dog becomes accustomed, hey, I know how to make that go away. Then we're gonna implement the tool if it's necessary. There's times I've started that. I'm like, hey, we don't even need to go to it.
Yeah. And even to go back, kind of what I was saying with the P-pad stuff and all that, is at the end of the day, I know some trainers say, hey, if you're going to join my group class, every dog has to be on a prong or this or that.
No.
I'm very much like, listen, I'm going to get to know your dog. I'm going to let you know what I recommend, why I recommend it, how to use it. And then at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do, right? It's your dog, it's your life. I can, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I can explain why I think this would be your best option. But if you're not comfortable with it and I can't get you to be comfortable with it, then all right,
other ways.
do what you're going to do. You know what I mean?
Well, I always tell people, listen, there's, we got other ways.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine, and I don't look down on anybody that doesn't want to use a tool, even if I think it's best for the dog, because I'm going to recommend what I think is going to be best for your dog, regardless of, and your emotions will come second to that, because you're paying me to help your dog, not you, as much as I'm here to help them as well. But I just manage the expectations. Yeah. Cool. We don't have to do it that way.
Yeah. And
but we got to just dumb down the expectation.
Same thing.
For
I
the
said
dog.
we can use something else, but it might not be as clear to your dog.
That's right.
It might take a little longer.
That's right.
It's not. This
We
is
may
not the
never
only
get
way
there.
to do it.
Yeah, we might not
Right.
even
Never
get
get
there.
You might. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
And that's where, again, a lot of people want to like, well, when can I stop rewarding? When can I stop using the prong? Right. And I think it's, I've referenced this before, but I think it's Sean, the good dog training,
Yep.
where he says, the goal is not to get rid of the tool. The goal is to get rid of the problem.
Yep.
Right. If wearing a prong eliminates 95% of your pulling, and obviously that goes in, a tool doesn't fix everything, goes with your training. But if using the tool is eliminating the problem, then just use the tool.
Yeah,
right. Some
sure.
dogs you may be able to wean away.
I
some dogs
always
you won't.
I always answer that one when you're no longer using it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're, and I always say, when you think you're there, do it twice as long.
That's a good
Right?
point. Yeah. Just proof it, sharpen
Proof
it.
it, and then, hey, I can get rid of it. My dogs aren't on prong anymore.
Clients are so quick to want to stop using the tool.
They want,
Why?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand it. Right?
And
I think
it
this
takes
is
2
stigma.
seconds to put it on.
It's the stigma of like, oh, that dog on that side of the street has a prong. It must be a big, bad, aggressive dog, right? So I think there is still a little bit of that stigma
sure
towards
there
it,
is.
and they don't want to be labeled as like, oh, that prong dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think a lot of it too is like, I call it surface results. Right, where like we come in and they have that wow factor, like, oh my God, I can't believe my dog is doing that stuff, but they don't realize we're only halfway there. We're not at the finish line
Yes.
yet.
Yeah.
And they're just so like, oh my God, this is great. We don't need this anymore. She lays down every time I
And I
ask
think that
her.
goes back to, again, our standards versus their standards.
Sure.
Not in a negative way, but like, we know where we can get with this dog,
Yes.
and they're just happy the dog's doing something.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah, that's the
which-
point I'm trying to
That's step
make.
one.
Yeah.
That's fine. You got to
Yeah.
start somewhere.
Yeah.
But
And I think the challenge as coaches is to be like, hey, we can get more. We can get more. Just stay with me a little longer.
that's a good way to put it.
Right? Just and watch how much happier. And I always ask them, say, you notice a difference in your dog's general behavior since we started implementing structure, rules, and boundaries. And they're like, yeah, I mean, the dog's so much easier, looks happier. Yeah, because they don't all want to be the boss. Very small amount of them actually
they
want
want
to be
leadership.
They want
They crave
leadership.
it. They thrive
and
in
that's
it.
really hard for people.
Yeah.
That's really hard for people because we don't like getting told what to do. Sure. Right? And then we go, well, if I tell the dog what to do and I create this structure and I create these boundaries and these guidelines and these rules, and my dog's not going to like me. No, it's the opposite.
Yes, exactly.
How many dogs, I'm sure, and we've all experienced, they walk in with their owners, as soon as we grab the leash, they're just pudding.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, I can't believe he likes you that much just because I give him direction.
Yeah, I'm communicating
clear.
clearly.
Yeah.
I've reinforced what I want, what I don't want, and now he knows. It's getting very
Yes.
black or white.
That's right.
And the dog's like, okay, I get it. I know what you want from me.
I know
right?
exactly what to expect. I know exactly what's going to happen. I feel safe and comfortable.
Exactly.
Right? And people miss that. People miss that a lot, and it's unfortunate.
Okay, well, Ryan, Chris, thank you guys so much for being here. Everyone be sure to check out Noble Canine. If you want to, again, plug maybe your website, your Instagram, where can people find you guys? And let everyone know.
Sure. noblecanine.ca. That's letter K, number 9.
Awesome. And I'll be sure I'll add your Instagram and your tag and username in there as well. This was a really good chat. Thank you guys
great.
for joining me.
Hey,
and
thanks for having us,
Yeah,
man.
definitely
Thanks for
happy to
having
do it
us,
again
man.
sometime in the future.
My pleasure. I'd gladly
Awesome.
come.
Thank you guys very much. Everyone, this has been the Pet to Pal podcast. Be sure to listen and tune in for future episodes. Thank you.